everybody. I'm here with Parice Brandies from RONIN. Hi Paris, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. I heard you flew all the way from Australia to be here.
I did.
Yes.
It's my first time here in Canada.
Oh, amazing. How do you like it so far?
I've loved it.
Yes.
It's been so beautiful, but also felt a bit like home, which is nice.
Okay, have you been anywhere in Vancouver? Have you seen the sights yet?
Yeah, so we've been to Deep Cove. We've been really lucky with the weather, so we went there, that was beautiful. And we also went to Grouse Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
That was very cool, and we're planning to hopefully sneak a day to get to Whistler as well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Did you do the grouse grind?
Yes.
How are your legs?
They're okay.
They're okay. She's like, oh, it's not even anything. Sounds great. And you just had a talk, and you talked about RONIN. Tell us a little bit about your talk.
So it was pretty much just like a quick introduction to what we do here. I gave a quick little background to how I sort of joined the company, and also just a quick demo of the platform itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so tell us a little bit about RONIN.
So it's pretty much just a simple web application that gets deployed on top of your AWS account or your cloud account. And it pretty much just simplifies the cloud so that your teams and users don't have to become cloud architects to be able to use all the power that the cloud has to offer.
I love this trend of making tech more accessible.
Yes, as it should.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely. For non-techies like myself, it's so heartening when people are just working with me instead of against me.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love that. So what is your impression of the Vancouver tech community so far? I'm not sure if you've had time to network yet or engage with our attendees. What's your impression so far?
Well, so far everyone's been super lovely, which is sort of what I expected. I did notice that there was another cloud conference on around the same time as this, so it must be quite the hub, I guess, for different tech conferences and things, which is really nice. And also one of our sort of favourite customers are UBC. And so we love coming and getting the opportunity to come and say hi to them while we're in Vancouver.
It's amazing. Did you go to campus yet?
Not yet. We're planning to meet up with them on Friday.
That's going to be a good one. It's a beautiful campus.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
going to
so
enjoy
excited.
it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you told me that you often do conferences and talks about RONIN. What does it mean to you to come all the way to Vancouver to represent your company?
Well, it's super exciting because I haven't been to Vancouver before. So yeah, having an excuse to come and see what it has to offer has been lovely. And it's also really cool that, you know, we're from a little startup in Australia, so getting the opportunity to have such a global presence is also really exciting.
Yes. And your talk, it talked about cutting through the chaos. Can you tell me what that means to you?
So the cloud can be quite chaotic in lots of different ways, like whether it's, some companies or institutions end up with hundreds of different accounts because they've created different ones for different projects or divisions or departments, and that can be quite chaotic to manage. There's also the bill shock that can come when you don't keep cloud costs under control. And so there's sort of a lot of different ways that the cloud can be a little bit chaotic, and that's why we built RONIN to essentially try and cut through all of that and make sure you're confident rather than chaotic in the cloud.
That makes total sense. What is one of the features of RONIN that allow that to be a thing?
So one of our sort of favourite features is what we call project auto pause. And what that means is that for every project, we sort of break up your AWS account into these distinct little project groups. And you can assign them a budget, and you can also set them to be auto-paused. And so what that means is that when that project hits that budget limit, the project goes into a pause state, which helps prevent any over-expenditure and gives administrators time to decide what to do with the project, whether it needs to be wrapped up or whether to give them some more budget and let them keep going.
Is that a feature I can install on my credit card? Because that would be helpful. Hey?
Yeah, that would be helpful, yeah.
Somebody should do that.
Yeah, they should, yeah.
And what does it look like? So what does the company look like before RONIN and post RONIN? What are the best pros that RONIN can offer?
So I think definitely that sort of turning that chaos into confidence is one of the big ones. So what we see is typically companies and teams can just move a lot quicker because instead of spending all this time having to manage the account and make sure that security is in place and cost enforcement is in place, RONIN takes care of all of that for them. So they can spend more time actually doing the analyses and innovating and coming up with new ideas rather than having to focus on actually managing their cloud accounts.
You know, more time for creativity and less time with the boring work.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want that on my daily life
Yeah.
too. And tell me, do you find, so you work with UBC, and I assume you work with other North American companies also?
Yeah. So we have, luckily for a little Australian company, we have quite a global presence. So yeah, we do have quite a few companies in the US and also over in sort of the UK, and then obviously Australia and Singapore and that as well.
Oh, so all over the place.
Yeah.
I was wondering, do you find, is there a difference between US companies, Canadian companies, and Australian companies?
There are some differences and I suppose a lot of similarities as well. I think in Australia we sometimes don't have the same access to sort of capital funds and that sort of thing. So I think Australian companies do tend to maybe be a little bit smaller, but in that sense they can be a little bit more lean on how they innovate and how they work. So I think especially in our company, a lot of us are more generalists where we do a lot of different things across the company rather than specialising in one particular thing. Which is really exciting because it means I get to learn a lot more about things that I probably never would have delved into. So I think that's maybe one of the differences that I've seen. Yeah.
Absolutely. Everything here is so specialized. I feel like everybody's careers is very like niche,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
they do this one specific thing
Yes.
for this one specific company.
Yeah.
But yes, I feel like generalists are more accepted in startup culture, for example,
Yes.
which is also a great place to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
So tell me more about what it's like in Australia. Do you network a lot in Australia?
Yeah, so we do. Well, I guess we're pretty close knit because even though it's quite a big continent, there's not a huge amount of population. Like we sort of spread across the east and west coast, and so you sort of do get to know everyone. And there are lots of opportunities to connect and lots of different conferences where they do bring in sort of international audiences and things. So we have definitely leveraged that, which has been nice. But it's also nice to get the opportunity to come outside of that and see more. I guess Canada's more of a hub for North America and I guess some European countries as well. So the two of them together is quite nice, and I think you need both.
Yeah, we're definitely trying to get on the map.
Yeah, exactly.
Make a name for ourselves.
Yeah.
And is the tech scene a big thing? Where are you from in Australia specifically?
Sydney.
Sydney. Is it a big thing in Sydney?
Probably not quite as big as North America or even Canada. I know Canada's not too far from Silicon Valley, so obviously that's one of the biggest tech hubs there are in the world. But there are lots of cool, innovative things coming from Australia. So there are some companies that have gone out to do great things that are very well known all around the world. So that's really cool to see.
It's awesome, yeah. So to finish up, what is one thing that you would say to someone who is coming into the tech scene and to starting out in this world? What is one thing you would tell them to help them in their journey?
So I'd probably say you don't have to do it alone. So tools like RONIN, for example, or other companies or partners can really help get you started and feel confident rather than feeling like you have to learn everything and tackle it all yourself. So leveraging those different opportunities and different partners and things can really help get you started and combat that steep learning curve of the cloud.
And what about your journey? What kind of resources did you use? What kind of tools did you use to get where you are today?
So I started off, without much knowledge at all because I didn't come from a tech background. I came from a sort of research background. And so I sort of learnt the hard way. I started, on my own, like I'm suggesting you don't do. And I had to go through a lot of training and learning all the different concepts and things. And I always remember thinking like there's got to be an easier way to do this. And so luckily my university partnered with RONIN, quite a few years ago. And so that was the first tool that I was like, this is exactly what I was talking about, like just something that makes this easier and more accessible to people like me who don't want to have to become complete IT dorks just to be able to use the cloud.
And what are some of the skills that you can now call your own after this journey?
Oh, so much really. Like I'm now sort of the lead software developer at the company, which I'd never done software development before. So I've learned a lot about that. Also just, basic things that go alongside cloud. So not only cloud components and managing cloud accounts and services, but also just things like networking, understanding how networking works, understanding security, and just also things like Linux administration and those sort of things as well. So I've learned a lot in lots of different departments.
Sounds like you've learned a lot on the job too. And how do you think that's different than learning in an academic setting, for example?
I think it makes it just a lot more interesting. Like instead of sort of being force-fed the information, you're wanting to learn more because you want to know how it works, or you want to know how you can apply a certain, concept or problem that's been brought to you. And so I think you get to do it in a more enjoyable way, but also I think it helps you learn it a bit more quickly as well because you're using it to solve an actual problem. Yeah.
That makes total sense. So my final question is, what is the key takeaway from your talk, from your experience here, that you'd like to share with the people watching from home?
Probably that the cloud is a superpower and everyone should be able to leverage it. And so, yeah, definitely don't hold back and don't be worried to adopt cloud. And there are tools out there like RONIN that can help make that a possibility.
Yeah, absolutely. Thankfully, we have things like RONIN that make it easier for us non-techies to experience all that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Paris. It's been lovely chatting with you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of Cloud Summit.
Thank
and
you.
enjoy the rest of your time in Vancouver.
Thank you, you too. Thanks.